today we're going to be doing some Pilates, just to make sure before we start that everybody has got a safe space around them. There are no hazards or anything that you could trip over or cause harm. Any equipment that you're using, i.e. your mat and stuff, is used before the on the manufacturer's guidelines, which I'm pretty sure you're not going to start wrapping your set around you and doing anything you shouldn't be doing with a mat. And just make sure you've got no injuries. If you have got injuries, then obviously you need to make sure that you don't do anything that's going to cause you any more harm. I'm not there to tell you what you can and can't do, so you just need to take it nice and steady. And if you feel any pain or any straining at any point, then you're just going to stop immediately, okay? So I can't be there to help you, so you just need to make sure that everything you do is safe. Pilates is very slow and controlled, so don't do anything too fast. And never try and push yourself too far into a position that you're not happy with. You need to take it slow and controlled and just keep the core tight throughout the whole class. If at any point your back does start to hurt, it usually means that your core's let go and your back's contracting. So as soon as you draw that back in, you should be okay. So we're going to start off with the drawing in maneuver. So this is where we keep our core muscles nice and tight. So we're just going to stand up. And we're going to engage the core, so you're going to make sure that you've got the tightest pair of trousers on. So you're going to keep the core nice and tight into the back, tucking the pelvis under, not sticking the bottom back, and you're going to breathe in and out through the chest. Okay? Then we're going to roll the shoulder blades up, back, and keep them down, and this is holding the core tight. From there, we're going to slowly and controlled just roll down to reach your toes. Feel the stretch into the back of your legs, just relax the shoulders, and then slowly roll back up the spine, notch by notch, until you're standing nice and tall, keeping that core tight. And then we're just going to repeat again, just rolling down, feel the stretch in the back of your legs, and then slowly roll back up to standing. If that hurts your back, then you can do the alternative, which is your extension, reaching up and back instead of doing the roll down. So again, this is where, if any of you have got any back injuries, to know specifically to come to a class or to have a session with me personally is better, so I can advise you on what is best for you. But for the majority of us, that should be fine. Don't worry also if you can't reach the floor. So if you can feel that stretch just through the back of the legs, that's great. And as you get more flexible, you'll be able to reach further. You can do it with or without your shoes on, guys. I've just got mine on for today because I've got my insoles in, so I'm trying to wear them as much as I can. Not being in the gym, I've been walking around barefoot, so. Good. And then we're going to add in the walkout. So we're going to roll down chin to chest. And then if you can reach the floor, great, but if not, you can bend your knees, reach to the floor, and then you're going to walk your hands out. And then you're going to drop the hips, lift the head, feeling that stretch, and then lifting back up, pushing the bum up, and rolling back up to standing, keeping that core nice and tight, and then repeat. So we're warming up through the arms and the shoulders, engaging the core, really getting a nice stretch into the back, the hip flexors, and the upper body there. Don't worry if you creak and crack. Good. And then on the next one, we're going to go down onto our hands and our knees. Good. So your hands are going to go shoulder width apart and directly underneath your shoulders. You want the elbows soft and relax your shoulders, keeping that back nice and flat and the core tight. We're going to breathe in and arch the back up as high as you can, and then breathe out, lift out, and get that stretch. And then again, breathing in, arching up, and breathing out, push out. Keep going with this one. It's a really good stretch for your back. both ways is really good for the mobility, getting those vertebrae moving so they're not stiffening up. Last one. Good, now we're going to go halfway between the two. So you're going to keep that back nice and flat. We don't want to be hunching. Imagine there's a brick on the upper back, so just loosen off. Elbow soft. And from there we're going to squeeze the bottom to lift the leg up behind you. Back down to the knees are hip width apart. And then change sides. Squeezing the bum to lift that leg. Back in and down. Keeping the core tight. If you want to make it harder, opposite arm to the leg and then back in and down. Opposite arm to the leg and then back in and down. Just that way. Thank you. Keeping the core nice and tight. Squeezing that bottom. Gap between the knees. Last few, keeping that core nice and tight. Good, now we're going to sit back and we're going to stretch out. So get those arms nice and straight. And feel that stretch into the back. Don't worry if you can't sit fully back onto your heels if you're quite tight in your hip flexors, just as far as you can. Good. And then we're going to go back up into that hands and knees position. We're going to relax the back and we're going to be using the side of our hip and bum now, using our glutes. We're going to be taking that knee out to the side and then in. Squeezing out and then back in. Keeping that core tight, keep the body nice and still. Just activating the side of that hip and that bottom. Keeping the core tight. I'm timing us doing this, so we're doing 30 seconds on each side. Okay, now change sides. Core tight. Try not to lean on this supporting hip. You want to squeeze the side of the hip and the bum of the other leg. Also try to keep the upper body nice and stable. Don't lean, and engage that core. Keep it super tight and the shoulders relaxed. Last few. Good. 3, 2, 1, and down. We're now going to sit down onto our bottoms. And we're going to take the legs out straight. So keeping the body up nice and tall. Some of you are going to struggle with that if you're quite tight into your hip flexors. So you're going to bend your knees so that you've got that nice straight back. So here is easier, here is harder. Core nice and tight, relax the shoulders, hands against the chest. And we're just going to twist around to the side and then back into the center. And then round to the other side. And this is great for loosening off your back, working on your core muscles. And keeping that posture nice and tall. We want to keep the shoulders away from the ears and the whole body moving as one. Last one. And back into the center. You can bend the knees and have a breather. Keeping that core tight still though when we relax now. So you don't want to just come in and relax everything because we're done doing all that hard work that we've been doing. So you want to keep the core tight. And you're going to try and take that away with you for the rest of the day as well. So keeping that posture tall, what we're going to do now is our roll down. So we're going to just slowly, notch by notch, roll down the spine, reaching as far as you can. It might be there, it might be higher, it might be lower. Use that tummy to then squeeze you in, and then posture nice and tall at the top. Don't come back up and round. Posture tall, being pulled up by that piece of string. And repeat. really squeezing that tummy, and then core tight at the top. So you're going down, guys, as far as you can. Not all of you are going to be able to go down to the floor like I can. So just go to here and then pull yourself back up. You can then work on, over the lockdown period, getting lower and lower. Good, just a few more. Good, now we're going to come back up. You're going to bend the knees. You're going to keep the core tight and the back straight and just relax those legs. So now we're going to be adding in some twisting to that movement. If any of you have got a bad back and you don't want to add the twisting in, that's absolutely fine. I would just recommend going straight forward and back. For the rest of us that've got no back issues, then great. So we're going to keep the core tight. Hands are here, and we're going to twist around, going out to the side, back up and into the centre, posture tall, and then change round. So we're now adding in that twisting element now, and then back in. So with Pilates, we're trying to incorporate movements that we'll do during the day. So we do lean back and we do twist round. Just thinking about reaching back for your cup of tea and then pulling it back in. So these are the movements that we want to get stronger on, so that when we upgrade to bottles of wine rather than glasses, we've got that strength to come back up and in. Keep that core tight at the top. Last few if you can. Remember, you can always do the straight one, or you can sit it out. Posture tall at the top. Last one. Good, and then back into the centre. Bend the knees, have a breather. You're right, Ted. Yeah, good boy. Now we're going to do a harder one. So we're going to keep the knees bent. We're going to have the hands here. You want the elbows in line with your chest and shoulder. And then we're leaning back, and then we're going to be opening and closing for 5, 4, core tight, looking up to the ceiling, 3, 2, one more, and then up, rest, core tight, don't relax it, and breathe. If that's too much for you, don't go too far back, or you can just go to here and then do it. I want you to get a nice open chest, really try and stretch out, not closing up and doing it like this. Look up, open up. Ready, steady, and go. 5, and in. 4, and in. 3, 2, one more. Up, rest and breathe, core nice and tight. Should be feeling that one. We've got 3 left. Ready, steady, and go. 5, and in. 4, and in. 3, 2, and 1, and up and rest. We've got 2 left. Ready, steady, and go. 5, and in. 4, make sure it's coming from the tummy. 3, 2, 1, up and rest. We've got 1 more time. Get ready, steady, and go. 5, and in. 4, 3, 2, last one, guys. Good, up and rest, good. Now your legs can be bent and crossed on this one, or they can be bent, or you can have them straight. Core tight, we're taking the arms out, back nice and straight, relax your shoulders away from the ears, and we're squeezing the elbows back, and then back out straight. So we're keeping that core tight, we're squeezing the elbows back, keeping that posture nice and tall. Thinking about squeezing that nut between your shoulder blades. Try and keep the wrists nice and straight, don't bend. It's the elbows that we want going back. Last few. Really get that chest opening. Good, and bend the knees and have a breather. Excellent, okay. So now we're going to take it down onto the floor. We're going to take the legs out nice and straight. And we're going to take the arms above the head. Now we're going to engage the core and try and keep the back as flat as we can. And then we're going to bring the arms forward and reach towards the leg that's going to lift. And then back out straight. And then reach up and squeeze. And then back out. Keeping that core nice and tight. Squeeze. And back down. Squeeze. Now, if you're a bit stronger, then you'll be able to come higher, so you'll be able to lift up, and then go back. Squeezing up, and then back down. Engaging that core, squeezing up, and then back down. Don't worry if you can't though, you just want to focus on that tummy, and then back out. Don't use the arms to pull you up either. You want it all to come from the tummy. Squeeze in there and then back down. Just two more. Good. And then back down. Have a rest. Try and keep the core nice and tight. We're then going to add twisting into that again. So if you're not happy with twisting, carry on going straight forward and back. Hands out to the side, and we're going to cross over to the opposite leg that's going to lift, back down, core tight, crossing over, and then back down. Again, if you can come up a little bit higher, great. Just don't push off of the arm that's on the floor, that's cheating. You want to use the waist to push you up and over, and then back down. Using that waist, core tight. Go back down. Make sure you're breathing. Last few. Good, and then full body stretch, reaching out through the fingertips and the toes, keeping that core tight. Good, we're then going to bring the hands down by the side. You're going to bend the knees and you're going to flatten that back down, really flatten it down, use the core, keep it tight. Palms facing the ceiling. Option 1, lift the leg up. Imagine there's a rolling pin underneath. You take the leg out straight, you bring it in, place it down, change inside. Don't want the hips to move. You want to have that pelvic stability. Keep it nice, slow and controlled. Option number 2, both arms, one leg. So you go up and over, and then back in and down. Up and over, back in and down. Harder is both arms, both legs, and then either back in, tap down, and then go again, or you can bring them slightly into the chest, keep the core tight, and then repeat. You're only going to do that option if you've got no back problems at all, no injuries. If you feel any straining, don't do it. You want it all to come from that tummy, and you want to hover the feet just off the floor. Keeping the back flat and the core tight. So option 1 was the leg on its own. Option 2, both arms, one leg. Option 3, both legs, both arms. Only if you've got no back issues, no straining, and a stronger core. Ideally done Pilates a few times before as well. keeping the back flat, core tight. This is where we feel the ab class from Wednesday. Last few. Good, and then you're going to hug the knees into the chest and just rock side to side. We're then going to take those legs up over an imaginary table. Keep the back flat, the core tight. Option 1, tap the toe down and back up. So these are called tabletop legs. Okay? Want to keep the back flat and the core tight. Option 2, take the leg away a little bit. Then back in. You don't want to feel any straining into that back. Option 3 is all the way out straight, back in and down. And option number 4 is your opposite arm to the leg, keeping this knee away from you. What we don't want to see is you bringing those knees in and then crossing them like that. That's wrong. They stay away at 90 degrees. So leg on, tapping down, out a little bit, out straight, opposite arm to leg. They're your 4 options. Really should have moved these bushes before I started the class. Keeping the back flat, the core super tight. Breathe. Last few if you can, maybe you can rest if you need to. Good, now we're going to hug the knees and rock side to side, quite tough on that one. Good, and then we are going to not go there, Ted. We're going to turn around onto our tummies. So we're going to we've done quite a lot for the tummy now, so now we're going to work onto the back muscles so that you have a whole strong core. So we're going to rest down. We're going to take the hands out to the side, and you want to keep the head down in contact with the floor. Keep the core tight, and we're going to lift the elbows up to the ceiling and then back down. You want to keep the core tight, and we're going to squeeze up with the elbows and then back down. Harder is to squeeze the bum as you lift your arms, and then relax the arms and the bum, but not the core. So it's squeezing the glutes, lifting the arms, relaxing down. Focus on keeping that core tight and breathe. Just a few more. Good, and then we're going to have a full body stretch, so reach out through the fingertips, really get that stretch through the body. Good, and then we're going to come back into the center, and this time we're going to use your lower back to pull you up. So you're going to have the arms resting, and we're going to face the floor, and we're going to lift. Now you're not pushing off with the arms, they're staying relaxed. And we're just using that back to pull us up. So we need to strengthen our back. You shouldn't feel any pain. Lift up and then down. Harder is to take the arms up with you. Your bum will do its own thing. Keep the core nice and tight. And lift. Core tight as you come down. Really squeezing that back. You want the head to face down, because if you start looking up, you're going to strain your neck. So you want everything to be in line, so you face down. a few more. Good, then full body stretch. Reach out through those fingertips, get that nice stretch. Good, and then we're going to keep the arms nice and straight where they are, core tight. And we're going to lift the arm back down, engage the core, and then lift the other arm. So we're just getting into these small muscles up here now. The rear of the shoulder, which usually is quite weak, so don't worry if you're hardly lifting your hand off the floor. It's not a big movement anyway, but you'll notice you might not even be able to get it slightly off the floor, but don't worry, just try and strengthen here a bit more. Just means that you're tight in the muscles in your chest, and we just need to work on that strength. You're trying to keep the arms close to the head and try to keep them as straight as you can as well. Good, last few. Good, then full body stretch. Really reach out through those fingertips, get that nice stretch. Good, then we're going to bend the knees, come up, sit far back as you can, and again get that arms out straight and get that stretch all into your hip flexors. Lowering the chest down as far as you can to get that nice stretch for your back.